One more example. This one's a little more entertaining. Let's factor p squared q squared plus 10 minus 2q squared minus 5p squared. And look two at a time. This is not looking too good. And this is not looking too good. So try rearranging the terms. It's legal to do that, perfectly fine. Let me just try putting this in the order p, that's a p squared, q squared. And let's move the 2 squared over here, taking its subtraction with it. And let me just go ahead and write, because it's kind of nice to have the higher powers come first, a 5p squared with its subtraction symbol plus a 10. Now if I look at this 2 at a time, things are a lot more promising. I can take out a q squared, and I'm left with p squared minus 2. Here, again, I've got that negative sign issue. I'd really like to have a positive negative inside, so let me pull out a negative, and we'll make that a negative 5 times, well, now that's going to be p squared minus 2. Checking back, negative 5p squared, got it? And negative 5 times negative 2 is a positive 10, so my signs are right. Now I have this p squared minus 2 in common that I can pull out, and I have a q squared minus 5. And at this point in your life, that's all the more you're going to do with this. It is factored. Highly recommend you check that by FOIL and see if you get back to the original. But it is done. Now, to come up with sort of a recipe for this whole process, what you're doing is you're going to look for a GCF a couple of terms at a time. You might have to rearrange them in order to see that, like in the last example. You're going to go ahead and pull it out of just those 2 terms. You're going to try with your other. Same thing, try on the next 2 terms. On down the line. Usually you'll just get a sum of 4 terms, sum or difference. And then you're going to see if you have a binomial in common. You just have to do it and see what happens. And finally, of course, pull that out as the greatest common factor. And finally, when you're using these methods, there is a hierarchy, there's a priority. First of all, try the greatest common factor. If it doesn't work, if you can't find a greatest common factor, then look at your problem and think in terms of factoring by grouping, which is this process we just went through. You'll be getting other methods of factoring, other tools to use as we go through the material in the course. And that's the end of this segment.